Thank you so much for the invitation to Harvard. I'm Katrine Vigander. Okay, it's coming up now. Element is a small architectural office with a base in Oslo. We are 5 architects, a small group. We're based on the blue spot there on the map. This is a map of Oslo, and I'm going to show you 2 projects. One is the Teacher's House, which is a conference center, and the other one is the Greenhouse, which is an apartment building. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about Element. What we do is that our main focus is to try to break the rules. We think that's a lot of fun. But it's also a problem because all the projects we do take forever because we're breaking the rules and challenging the rules in order to make it better tomorrow or make examples that are opposite of what is the typical of what is produced at every time. And we have this, just to say something about the rules of Norway, we have this word which is extremely annoying. It's called pre-accepted solutions. And that's yesterday, per definition. And we like to work with tomorrow, so that's those rules we're trying to break. So, but instead of complaining, which is negative, we try to do this through built examples. I don't like complaining. So let's go a little bit back in time. It seems like the Vikings were a little bit smarter than us. They introduced the log house back then with just the use of common sense and natural ventilated beautiful log houses. And then something happened in the 1950s, the introduction of 10 centimeters of insulation, the traditional insulation. And since that, the mechanical ventilation. And what is happening is that it's a huge problem. We don't like the way it's thought that more and more insulation. We don't think it's good. It's just profiting the insulation business and the mechanical ventilation business. And in other fields, technology makes things smaller, lighter, better. But in the building field, it seems like things are getting bigger and bigger. So that's what we wanted to challenge. So this was back in 2004. It's a health problem that we're like insulating our way out of our spaces. So we wanted to make something else. So this is a small drawing of, the 3 layers of window. You can't look out. Small windows, thick walls. You can't breathe. You can't open the windows, and you freeze. At least as a woman, you do always. So this is the Teacher's House. We won the competition in 2004, and it was finished in 2009 because we were breaking the rules. And the politicians don't know what to do about that. So the site was never built before. It's in a rough area of Oslo. We worked with the artist Jorunn Sandnes, which also had facades of the Library of Alexandria by Snøhetta. She's a wonderful artist, and we try to use art as something that has a function instead of just putting it in afterwards. So it has a function when it comes to the energy concept. So this was the initial concept sketch, and here you see the southwest facade, which actually is the success to this building, which is more or less zero emission building now, today, because it's built for the future. We can change components as technology moves on. It's not rocket science, it's just common sense, we thought, and it's a reaction to the passive house. The big facade you just saw is to the southwest. We chose very poor glass, not triple glass and that you can't see through and it's too reflective. And what we do is we're just taking the sun and the heat from the sun, put it down to the earth, 10 energy wells of 150, 200 meters down to the ground. And in the wintertime, we take the heat up again that is stored, circulated in the concrete mass, which is it's the clue to this combination of having this low energy house. And also, we connect to the existing buildings which are marked with blue there, so that if there's excess energy or heat from the teacher's house, it'll export. And then, of course, in the summertime, it's the other way around. Then it's the cool water circulating. And I'll show you just a photo of from the atelier of Jorunn Sandnes. She's walking behind there. The mirrored glass, we do, one-to-one tests. It didn't give us answers because we were unsecure of the effect of the mirroring, but it has an effect to the energy concept, which has been important. Here, it's more or less like a torch. Oh, the left photo is more for the photograph. It's not, the lights are not that heavy at night. And to the right, you'll see that it mirrors the sky. It differs, of course, with the weather, and it's mirroring its neighboring buildings. Here, the staircase, where you see the letters symbolizing the importance of teaching and learning, as this is the Union of Education of Norway's house. And this staircase, the reason why I'm showing it is the concrete, and that it's a heater, it's a radiator, and it's a cooler, the whole staircase, and also the decks. Here, just from the actual conference room, from the backyard, and to the right, you'll see the red thing there. It's an acoustic piece because exposed thermal mass, which is very important for this project, will give you some challenges when it comes to acoustics, just like Tine mentioned. So this is a 17-meter-long acoustic textile artwork by Mai Jorunn Andersen. So, well, we'll move on to the next project. This is, it was finished in 2013, the fall of 2013. 21 apartments. Oslo is it's rapidly growing. We need more housing and low-budget housing. And this particular project, because we broke the rules again, took 10 years, not to build, but because we're breaking the rules. So this project sits in a very fragile situation along a park axis or a green axis. This is the actual house. And the footprint of the house is the same as the site. So we had to challenge again. So in Norway, you had to have to put the garden on the ground. We put it up on the top. And also, you have to make sure that there's parking space. We didn't do that. So we just chose bikes. And we also made an innovation on fire. So we challenged the fire rules, making 4 apartments instead of 3 apartments per floor, which is good for the economics and good for people. So here, actually, there are no cars, just bikes, which is wonderful. And just a few weeks ago, the politicians of Oslo stated, we want to have Oslo free of cars within 2019. And that's exciting. And maybe then Greenhouse could be an example of how to solve it and make it more like Copenhagen, which is fantastic when it comes to the bike. So just a little bit about the initial idea. We wanted to give something back to the city. We want to try to give something more than just the function. So this leftover space, and our first initial idea was to just build a symbolic tree. So we started to map the colors of the existing city blocks of Oslo, which is they're so colorful, so beautiful, and we've kind of lost color and architecture. Like in the US, the beige seems to be a very popular color, and in Norway, it's the gray. So we wanted to to make a colorful house. So we started with art piece, and we chose glass again. We just love glass, and we're so happy. It's, you know, looking through a tree canopy. That was the point. We're so happy, but then we challenged too much, and the client called and said, "We can't afford this facade. You just have to paint it some color. We can't afford anything because we got the numbers from another project." So then we said, "Oh, what do we do?" Well, I said, "Give us 3 weeks and we'll team up with engineers and the industry. We love to work interdisciplinary from day one, and we'll deliver the facade. If the entrepreneur delivers the inner house, we'll deliver the outer facade on time within revised budget." But of course, we worked 1,500 hours with no payment, but maybe it's better than losing competitions. So what we did was just doing an innovation, low-tech facade system. A lot of fun to do. These are some tests. This is from the actual facade, multiple layers of glass. The glass also acts as railings for the French balconies and for the balconies. Very simple, in fact. So when it comes to the roof garden, it has a very important role, apart from the social role, and that is that sudden rain power poor in cities is a huge problem for society, and it doesn't just go for Oslo. It's more expensive than flooding, so we need to do something with our roofs to retain and delay rainwater. So what it is that it's a garden with 50 centimeters of soil. You can do urban farming, but the most important is, of course, what I mentioned, that it's retaining and delaying. Here there are some private spaces and also some common spaces, and they use it a lot. So this is from the actual, this is quite an old photo. It's more green now, but it works fine. Here's my partner taking a nap. And here's one of the people living there and the dog. Here's from the ground level. We had some difficulties with this transition between public and private, but it works well. There are some dope heads there, but they're nice people, and it hasn't become a bigger problem. So this is a very important photo because it's the little shoe shop on the corner, and it gives something to. It acts like a reception for the people living there. They're grabbing a coffee. It gives something back to the city. It's Dundas footwear, beautiful shoes actually also. But what warms our heart the most is that we designed these small birdhouses, and there's this mini apartments on the facade, and this couple moved in just like 1 year ago. And we're happy about that in our hearts. What makes us even more happy is, of course, the social dimension of, you know, when we densify our cities, we need to do it with quality. We need to do something. We need to give the first floor back to the city and activate the roofs and so on. So they don't use the balconies. They actually meet on the roof, and it warms our heart. Happy living is good for our health. We know that. Daylight and happy living. My last slide is a cartoon we did very many years ago. It's called Teamwork is Dreamwork, because we love technology. We just love technology, and technology is architecture. So this just shows a little bit of the complexity of the different professions we're trying to, you know, with acoustics and fire and everything. Professions coming together to try to solve something. It's not the architect solving. We are just a facilitator of either if it's urban planning or buildings. So we'll just continue challenging, even though we almost go bankrupt every other day. But hopefully it will bring the our lives a little bit further, and it could be some examples of how to do how to bring our world or our living environments further. So to the students here, continue to just challenge. That's our role. Challenge, and yeah, thank you very much.